Okay, when I say Frankenstein, what's the first thing you picture? I bet it's a huge, green guy with bolts sticking out of his neck, right? Well, what if I told you that's completely wrong? Frankenstein, that wasn't the monster's name. It was his creator's. And the real story, the one Mary Shelley wrote over 2 centuries ago, it poses a much, much darker question. When a man decides to play God and then abandons what he creates, who's the real monster? And the story warns us right from the very beginning.
So right out of the gate, we get this warning from Victor Frankenstein himself. This isn't some triumphant story about a scientific breakthrough. Oh no, this is a cautionary tale, a deep dive into the horrifying price of ambition when it goes way, way too far. It's basically a confession, and believe me, we are about to hear every single damning detail.
So, let's talk about Victor Frankenstein. Who is this guy? You've got to understand, he's not your typical mad scientist, cackling away in a spooky castle. Not at all. He's a young, incredibly brilliant student. He comes from a loving, wealthy family in Geneva. I mean, this guy has it all, everything you could possibly want. But he's got this one obsession that eats him alive. He wants to uncover the secret of life itself. And this isn't just some casual college project. It's a fever. It completely consumes him. He just locks himself away, stops talking to his family, the people who absolutely adore him, and just pushes himself to the absolute limit, both physically and mentally. He gets so lost in the act of creating life that he kind of forgets how to live his own.
And listen to this. This is what's going on in his head. This quote tells you everything you need to know about his ambition. He's not just thinking like a scientist. He's thinking like a god. He genuinely believes he's about to birth a beautiful new species, that he'll be praised and worshipped as their creator. There's no evil intent here, not really. It's just a breathtaking amount of ego, and he is completely blind to what could possibly go wrong.
And then it happens. On a dreary night of November, he flips the switch, so to speak. He brings his creation, this thing stitched together from pieces of the dead, to life. And it works. Its eye opens, and Victor is just horrified, absolutely disgusted. The beautiful dream becomes a waking nightmare. And what does he do? He runs. He literally runs away and abandons his creation, his newborn, leaving it completely and utterly alone. And just like that, the camera shifts. With the creator out of the picture, the story now follows the creation. And this isn't some lumbering monster. He's intelligent, he's sensitive, and he's just born. He wakes up in a world that is terrified of him, a world that doesn't understand him. His story becomes this desperate journey for survival and just a little bit of connection. Okay, let's just break this down for a second, because this right here, this is the core of the whole tragedy. Look at Victor. Privilege, love, education, social acceptance. He had it all. And the creature? Nothing. He had a violent birth, had to teach himself everything in secret, and was met with nothing but pure terror and hate from day one. It's just staggering. One guy had everything and tossed it aside, while the other had nothing and just wanted to belong. So how does he even manage to survive, let alone learn anything? Well, he finds this little shed, a hovel, attached to a cottage, and from there, in secret, he just watches the family that lives inside, the de Lacys. Through a tiny crack in the wall, he learns, well, everything. He learns language, he learns to read, he learns about history. But more than that, he learns about love, kindness, family. He's literally developing a soul, all while hiding in the shadows, completely alone.
And look, this proves he's not some mindless monster. He's a philosopher, asking the biggest questions anyone can ask. Who am I? What am I? I mean, can you even imagine the pain of that? To have a mind that can form these deep, existential questions? But there's no one, literally no one, in the entire world to answer them. Not even the guy who made you.
All right, so after 2 years of living like this, in total isolation, the creature finally does it. He tracks Victor down, they meet high up in the mountains, and this is the absolute heart of the novel. The creation finally confronts his creator. But he's not there for revenge, not yet. He's there to tell his side of the story, and to ask for one thing. You see, his last real hope for any kind of acceptance was just shattered. He finally worked up the courage to approach that family he'd been watching, the de Lacys. He talks to the old man who's blind and treats him with kindness. For a moment, there's hope. But then, the others come home. They see him, and they just freak out. They attack him, drive him away, and that's the moment. That's when all that crushing loneliness finally boils over into pure rage.
Humanity has spoken, and its answer is no.
And when he confronts Victor, his plea is, well, it's actually incredibly logical. He basically says, look, I'm only malicious because I'm miserable. Everyone hates me. Just make me a companion, someone like me, and I swear we will vanish. We'll go to South America, and you will never, ever hear from me again. He's not asking to join society. He's just asking for a chance to leave it, with one person to share his life with.
And, believe it or not, Victor is moved. For the first time, he feels a tiny spark of responsibility. So, he agrees. He actually agrees to do it. He goes off to this remote island in Scotland to start building a female companion. But this little moment of compassion, it's not going to last. And the decision he makes next is going to doom them all.
So there he is, working on the companion, but his mind starts racing. What if she's even worse than the first one? What if they have kids and create a whole race of devils? He's spiraling. And then, in a moment of pure panic, he looks up and sees the creature watching him through the window. And in what might be the cruelest act in the entire book, he just tears her apart. He destroys the half-finished creation right in front of him. He breaks the one promise he ever made.
That's it. That is the point of no return. In that single moment, the creature's plea for companionship dies, and a vow of cold, hard vengeance is born. He delivers that bone-chilling line, and then he's gone, leaving Victor with this horrifying promise hanging over his head.
And the creature makes good on his threat. He starts to systematically dismantle Victor's life, not by killing him, but by killing everyone he loves. It's a cascade of horror. First, his little brother William. Then, an innocent girl, Justine, is framed and executed for the crime. Then, his best friend in the world, Henry Clerval. And finally, the wedding night arrives, and he fulfills his vow, killing Victor's new wife, Elizabeth.
So now, Victor has lost everything. Everyone he ever cared about is gone, and his life boils down to one single purpose: revenge. It's a complete role reversal, isn't it? Now the creator is hunting the creation. This epic, desperate chase takes them all the way across the world, to the absolute ends of the earth, out onto the frozen ice of the Arctic.
And it's there, on a ship stuck in the ice, as he's dying, that Victor finally gets it. He finally has a moment of clarity. He sees that he wasn't some godlike Prometheus. He was a fallen angel, just like Lucifer, who aspired to be more than he was, and ended up chained in a hell that he himself built. He knows his own ambition, his own pride is what caused all of this.
But Victor's death isn't the final scene. In this shocking twist, the creature himself comes aboard the ship. He finds Victor's body, and he's not gloating, he's not celebrating, he's weeping, mourning the man he hated, the man who was his whole world. With his creator gone, his entire purpose for existing is just gone.
And his final words, they tell you everything. They aren't words of hate towards Victor. They're words of absolute self-loathing. He understands the terrible things he's done. And in that moment, in his ability to feel that profound remorse, you could argue he shows more humanity than Victor ever did. So he tells the captain his plan. He's going to travel to the farthest point north and build his own funeral pyre. His creator is gone, his purpose is gone, and his painful, lonely life can finally be over. And with that, he leaps from the ship and just vanishes into the icy darkness forever. Which leaves us right back where we started, with that one haunting question. Who was the true monster? Was it the creature, assembled from the dead, who was born innocent and only learned to hate after being rejected by the entire world? Or was it the brilliant scientist who, blinded by ambition, abandoned his own creation, his own child really, and then was shocked when his neglect created a monster? The story doesn't give you an easy answer, and maybe that's the point.